Hiya boys and welcome to a Modded Skyblock Part 7. Last time we went through an insanely long process of making an admittedly insane jetpack, hooked up all of our civs, including some new ones, into a system that turns all chunks into blocks, and started dipping our toes into Phytogenic insulators. Today, we're building on that. Over the course of 3 streams, we work on not only making the most of our new ore block generation, but also expand our Phytogenic insulator farm for some juicy passive resource production and give our power a serious upgrade. And of course, like always, get distracted by a few other things on the way. Let's get into it. Before I could even think about making the Phytogenic farm of my dreams, I needed a way more stable power supply. The hardened Magmator has been doing okay up until now. It was starting to buckle under the pressure a bit. I had to kind of cut machines off just to ease the load on it. Upgrading the power system still works the same as before. The higher the tier, the more resources and the more energy it requires. On top of that, the energizing rods, the way of creating the alloys required for the higher tier items in the power mod, also need the higher tier alloys, which explains the very janky looking setup I have up right now. And it doesn't just look janky. Now the only thing is I might not have enough power for this, but fuck me. Oh, come on now. Oh no, I'm falling off the world because I just walked off my fucking skyblock. I'm an idiot. No. Why does it take so long for me to fall off the world? Let me get my stuff back. No, it's fine. Just continue falling for the rest of fucking time. It's not like my time is valuable or anything. Now this should be enough power just for the energized ones now. Yeah. Right, let's just make a whole stack of this while we're here. So I have a feeling we might need quite a bit of it. Fuck me, mate. Why is it like coming in and out of working? I guess we could just like wire this up to... Whoa. What's happened over here? I think my windmill's a bit messed up. I guess we could just wire it up from over here. After spending a slightly embarrassing amount of time before I realized I could just hook it up until my existing power, we were off to the races. We quickly got to crafting blazing crystals, which is the tier above energized steel, made with 4 blaze powder and a bunch of power. Luckily, almost all the materials I needed were either being sieved or grown with seeds, so it didn't feel like as bad of a grind. Each tier of power generation requires the tier below it in the recipe. So for now, I'm going to replace the hardened Magmator with a blazing one and start working on the next tier, Niotic. For that I needed diamonds, which was easy thanks to the diamond seeds I made last episode, but they also required 300,000 FE per crystal. Even with the upgrades, it was slow. But eventually we got there and we made a Niotic tier Magmator. The last planned stop for the Magmator was the Spirited tier. This is because 1, the FE levels were getting a bit rich for my blood, and I couldn't be bothered sitting there waiting for a percentage to go up. It got so tedious I had to even start showing off my Warhammers while I was waiting. You might not be able to see it very well on camera, but oh yeah, no, you can. Still need to paint his mouth. But there's a nid. So there's a couple more nids. I need to do the white on the back of his. Rawr! Look, I did like an effect on his back. It's like the shine on his carapace is red. Looks pretty cool, that. Rawr, I need to do his base still. You can see all the bits of red. Looks quite cool on camera. I need to do some detailing on his like chest as well. But yeah, he's cool. Rawr. That's my Warhammer update. And 2, the final tier in power, Nitro, requires Nether Stars, a block of blazing crystal, and 20 million FE. So yeah, no thanks. Spirited was more than enough for now anyway. So what do you do when you finally have all this power? You waste 4 hours of your time, obviously. If you cast your minds back to one of the first episodes of Skyblock, you'll remember making a contraption involving a squeezer and an armor stand to double the resources from ore blocks. The whole reason I wanted ore blocks in the last episode was so that I could replicate this many times over and have it automated. So I built a bunch of the Wallace and Gromit style machines, piped in ore blocks with the export buses, and outputted raw metal into an autocrafter with a hammer. And if this all works together, I'll be making 4 ingots per ore block. Now I'll give you 5 seconds to guess in the comments what went wrong. And hey, while you're down there, you might as well subscribe as well. Why not? If you guessed the hammers messed everything up, you would be right. If you guessed that everything was wrong to begin with, you would also be right. See, what I attempted to do was have the hammers be consistently crafted above in an auto crafter and move down into the auto crafter responsible for making the raw metal into dust. However, I just couldn't get it to work. Either the auto crafter made too many hammers and clogged everything, or it didn't make any at all. I tried so hard to make this work. I used a redstone emitter to make the platinum and sticks enter the system slower. Didn't work. I tried an ME auto crafting system to request hammers when I needed them. Didn't work. I was bashing my head against this for literally hours, until one block made it all irrelevant. But now this is, for some reason, not exporting. Stop the bloody presses, right? I can just use a crusher. I don't need to have fucking hammers on demand. I can't believe how stupid I am. Why is the osmium not coming in here? It doesn't crush the osmium for you. It crushes the ingots back into dust. An enrichment chamber does. Right, well, the crusher... Forget the crusher. Let's get an enrichment chamber then. So yeah, that was a lot of trial and error when I could have just used the osmium compressor from the beginning. And as we get later into the video, you'll see that it wasn't the only part that I screwed up and made far more complicated for no particular reason. But for now, the squeezing system was taking various different ore blocks, squeezing them into raw metal. They were being compressed into dust and transported into the ME network. As a reward for myself, after a lot of stress, I made a dirt platform for mobs to spawn on. It doesn't sound like much, but after that, I needed a bit of mindless dirt placing therapy. Then, after admiring my dust collection after a long day's work, I ended stream. Right, I think we are good to go. I've got everything set up, and I'm going to be doing even more Skyblock. Who would have bloody guessed it? Why is this guy still doing Skyblock? Who knows? I'm really fucking enjoying Skyblock at the moment though. Like, I like a slow and methodical game where I make very little progress in 6 hours. It's good. It's good. I like doing this. At the start of my next stream, an absolute legend, Orazio Esposito, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, popped into my chat. Not only had they watched hours of my Skyblock's VODs, which was insane in itself, but they gave me huge advice. The entire squeezer setup could be replaced by one block, pulverizer. This reduced the footprint of my setup dramatically, also allowed for upgrading in the future to make the process a lot quicker. Unfortunately though, the VOD for that stream has been corrupted. Thank you OBS, very cool. So I'll let past me explain what happened during that stream. Right, so last time in the Skyblock, we made some pretty decent progress, actually. We finally got, like, all the ingots auto-smelting and stuff like that, which is fucking cracking stuff. We fixed the sieving system that wasn't working for, like, the past, like, 5 streams, which is equal parts embarrassing and good that we got it sorted. Like, we were running out of diamonds and coal, which was like insane. And I remember saying, like, how the fuck are we running out of these things? We should be automatically generating them. And the fact that I didn't put 2 and 2 together and realize that the sieves just weren't doing anything. So that's sorted. So now we're getting more resources than bloody ever. We are absolutely flush with diamonds. I'll show you the amount of ingots and the amount of, like, coal and diamonds and stuff we're getting. And the final thing I sorted out last night before going to bed was, if you can see in the distance, there is a platform that should have a reactor on it. The reactor's not loaded in. Maybe I have to go a bit closer. Yeah, there it is. The reactor that we did last time, which is going to make us a big power, but we have to get it all ready and set up, which is what we're doing today. But hurry, fella. I wasn't talking about you, so I'm getting a fuck out of my vision. So yeah, there's these, like, little boxes here that are called, like, Phytogenic insulators, I think. Yeah, Phytogenic insulators, which will automatically grow our fucking seeds for us. And the last thing I wanted to do before logging off last night was getting all this sorted down here. This is like an automatic crafting table, but it doesn't fill up, like it has slots open. So we're currently waiting on Niter Dust, I think this is called. So the Niter Dust that's coming in is crafting, but it's not getting filled up with the other things. We're pretty good for the old fertilizer. The amount of fucking fertilizer I've got, look at that shit. So like diamonds, maybe? Diamonds. We are on 4,887, is that? That's a lot of diamonds. How are we for emeralds? 4,600 emeralds. I'm rich. Ingots. If I search ingots, we have 10k copper. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, ignore steel, solium, and sky steel because I haven't got those set up yet. Anything that is below 1,000, we haven't got like a farm for. But the rest of these are just going to keep on going up because we have this system. And this system turns my ores that are being compacted over here. So sieve gives me ore chunks, which come along here. These are the ore chunks and get compacted into ore blocks. These are the ore blocks that are being pulverized into dust. And the dust comes through here, into here, and goes into the furnaces, which go into this chest back here, which is where all the like insane amount of ingots are. Yeah, I'm seriously pissed at OBS for corrupting the whole stream, but thankfully it was a lot of grindy things that you missed. As I said in the clip, between the sieving system, the pulverizer compressor setup, and the seed farm downstairs, we were absolutely rolling in resources. But if you think that's good enough for me, you must be new here. That is only the tip of the iceberg of things that I still have to manually grind. For example, I still haven't set up a tree farm or a mob farm to get those kind of resources. While I could make an inefficient and time-consuming tree farm or mob farm, I could just use the infrastructure I've already begun to use to grow these type of resources passively. And after the whole fiasco with the squeezers, I think it's probably for the best. This is where I bring out the Phytogenic insulators. Before getting started with that though, I decided to make a wireless terminal for my ME system. As long as I'm in range, I can access the storage from anywhere, which is a godsend. Let's just see if this works. Device is not linked. But we put it in here. It should now be linked. Wow, look at that. What's the range? So it said 18. Okay, it doesn't... It works. Ow, I'm in the cactus. It works to about here. That's alright. It's not bad. It needs to be a bit better though. Stick it back in the charger. That does mean that we can work from anywhere. In the future, I can improve this range. But first though, I need power. A lot of power. While I spent a decent amount of time upgrading the Magmator, I knew that it was only for small scale systems. It's time to get into the big leagues. We need to start thinking nuclear. Enter the Reactor. The Reactor is a block from the Powah mod that when placed turns into this multi-block monstrosity, which runs on uranite, which is made by putting uranium into an energizing orb with lots of Fe. There's that energizing orb again. This is initially why I set up the whole system for pulverizing, compressing, and smelting ore, but it turns out you can just make uranite seeds to automatically grow fuel for your reactor. So that was one insulator required. The reactor can work off just uranite, but is very inefficient with its fuel. So let's ease the load with both redstone and coal, which can be piped into the system on their own or as blocks, with blocks being a lot more efficient as it's 9 in 1. So that's 2 more insulators. And while I could have used a crazy amount of coal and redstone that's already in my system, I would rather have that as backup for other projects instead of all of it going into the reactor. Also, I'm already using 1 insulator. What's 2 more? From these insulators, I pipe them into auto crafters to craft the essence from the seeds into uranite, coal, and redstone. And for the latter 2, another auto crafter is used to turn them into blocks. These 3 components are piped into the reactor. We finally need a cooling system, and to save time, I used an infinite water source in the form of a sink. Yes, a sink into a nuclear reactor to cool the reactor down. Also, the reactor plays by the same rules as the Magmator, where it had to be upgraded from basic all the way up to spirited. With that lengthy explanation out the way and some trial and error, we got it online. So now it's making uranite blocks. Do uranite blocks go in this? Nope, so that was a wasted step, but that's fine. Boom! Okay, yeah, it's getting hot. Oh jeez. We're making a lot of power, but hopefully it doesn't explode. That would not be great. It is generating a lot of energy and has stored a lot of energy. So what do you do with all that power? Fly to space? Build a death laser? Blow up 1,000 moons? Nah. Cobblestone room. But in all fairness, it's not just any cobblestone room. This one is going to be filled to the brim with insulators, each handling a different seed to passively generate all the resources that I'm going to need in the future. Power goes into the front, the phytogrow comes in from below, water from the side, thanks again to the sink, and the seeds loop back in. The outputs go to drawers and then into the ME system. Repeat that step a dozen times, and boom, a whole wall of insulators. This does mean that the create farm can be retired. I should probably make better use of create. Every time I use it, I just end up replacing it with something better. Oh, and don't worry, it'll get prettied up eventually. I just wanted to make sure it all worked before making it look nice, so it's sticking as a cobblestone cube for now. And that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this slightly longer and more edited video. Since I've kind of given myself a bit more time between uploads, I'm hoping the quality kind of shows through on this. If you did like it, the best way you can support me is by subscribing. It does mean a lot. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in a bit. Ta-ra.